In the cold, empty part of space near the Empire's border, a small probe floated alone. It had one job: watch for enemy movement. For years, it had sent back nothing but silence. Until now. The probe picked up something, a signal. At first, the machine thought it was a glitch. The signal was old. Very old. Older than anything in the Empire's database. It wasn't coded like alien transmissions. It wasn't machine chatter either. It was Terran. But that couldn't be right. Humans were gone, lost to history. Their last warship disappeared over 200 years ago during the Great Collapse. Still, the probe recorded the signal and sent it back to the nearest Empire patrol ship. Aboard the Empire ship Watcher 7, officers looked over the data. At first, they laughed. Terran? You mean Earth? That's just a myth. But one officer, the oldest on board, stared at the signal quietly. "I've seen this before," he whispered. "Long ago." The crew grew quiet. They didn't believe in ghost stories, but something about the signal felt wrong. It was too perfect, too steady, like it wanted to be found. The captain gave the order to move toward the coordinates. As they approached the location, nothing appeared on scanners. No debris, no energy spikes. Just empty space. Then, suddenly, a shadow moved. Not fast, not loud. Just there. A massive shape blocked the stars for a second. The ship's crew gasped. What was that? The scanners lit up. The reading made no sense. It was huge, almost the size of a small moon. But it gave off no heat, no radio waves, no movement. Then, one word appeared on the scanner screen. Terran. Everyone on the bridge stared at it. No one spoke. The captain leaned forward. That has to be wrong. But before anyone could say more, lights appeared in space. A thin line of red, then another, then dozens, forming the outline of a ship that had not been seen for centuries. It looked nothing like current Empire design. Its surface was smooth and sharp like a blade. It had no markings, no flags. But there was no doubt it was human, and it was awake. The Empire ship tried to hail it. No answer. They sent drones to scan it. The drones died mid-flight. Every camera on Watcher 7 recorded the same thing. Nothing. The ship was right there, in front of them, but nothing could capture it. It was like it was hiding in plain sight. Then, a pulse of energy came from the Terran ship. Soft. Gentle. But it passed through Watcher 7 like a wave. Alarms blared. Lights flickered. Systems rebooted. But the crew was still alive. It was a warning. Not an attack, a message. Back at Empire Command, high officers stared at the recordings. The news was spreading fast. Some thought it was fake. Others whispered the old stories. Terran warships never die. They just sleep. Was this the beginning, or just one lost machine? But as the signal kept repeating across the stars, more probes picked it up. More locations, more signals. Same word, Terran. One officer at command leaned close to the screen and whispered, "They're not lost. They're coming back." Out in the stars, the human warship floated silently. Not moving, not firing, just waiting, like it knew what came next. The Empire sent more ships, big ones, battle cruisers, interceptors, scout wings. All eyes in that star sector were now focused on one thing, the mysterious warship that refused to move, to speak, or even to acknowledge them. But it was there, and it was human. The fleet commander on board the flagship Dominator had one mission: identify the object. If it's hostile, destroy it. But no one really wanted to get close. The Terran ship sat in total silence. No heat signatures, no weapons locks, just the cold shadow of something that felt old. Too old, and yet not broken. Not a ruin. A sleeper. One scout ship flew close, cutting through the void. Its pilot reported strange static across all channels. Visual feeds flickered. Internal systems glitched. But the shape was clear now, massive, angular, and wrong in all the ways that made your chest tighten. The hull had no lights except one single line glowing blood red along its side. No windows, no name. But when the ship turned, without thrust, without movement, it faced the Empire fleet. Just like that, every ship's targeting system glitched. Shields dropped. Engines slowed. The Terran warship still hadn't fired, but it had just looked at them, and that alone made warships panic. Back at command, high-ranking officers screamed into channels, "Engage it! Show force!" The Dominator locked missiles. Fighters launched. And then, everything stopped. Time didn't slow, but something made it feel like it did. The Terran ship pulsed. No explosion, just light. A wave of dark blue energy rippled through space like liquid, passing through all Empire systems. Weapons jammed, engines rebooted. HUDs blinked random codes in ancient Terran script. The warship had shut down their entire fleet without firing a single shot. The silence returned. Then came the sound. A deep hum, not machine, not voice. Something in between. And through that hum came a message, broadcast straight into the minds of every commander, every pilot, every tech aboard the Empire ships. Your machines speak too loudly. Your weapons are loud, but they do not speak wisdom. We remember what you buried, the commander screamed. Who are you? What are you? But the voice didn't answer. Instead, the stars behind the Terran ship shimmered and the fleet saw them. More shadows, more ships. At least 5. No, 10. Each one different. Each one Terran. Each one older. They didn't decloak. They were just there. Like they'd always been. Like they had waited. The Dominator's commander turned pale. "This is a recon fleet," he whispered. "Just the front." He realized something too late. The first ship was never alone. It was the warning. The others were the beginning. The Terran fleet was returning, not from deep space, but from deep time. Across the galaxy, panic began. Stations shut down. Fleets recalled. Pirates vanished. The word spread like wildfire. A human warship just appeared. But now it wasn't just one. It was the first of many, and they weren't lost. They were watching. The galaxy didn't believe it. Even with sensor logs, video footage, and terrified reports from the Empire fleet, most called it a lie. A hoax. Pirate. Tricks. Empire propaganda. But the images kept spreading. The footage showed a massive ship floating in silence, surrounded by glitching Empire vessels. And behind it, the shadows of more. Too many. Too still. Too human. In a dusty bar on a forgotten moon, a trader replayed the video for a small crowd. A few laughed. One threw a drink at the screen. Terran warships, ghost stories, they vanished centuries ago. But in the corner, an old miner watched quietly. His hand shook as he whispered, "I've seen that shape before. When I was a child. It saved our station. Then vanished." No one believed him. Just like no one believed the whispering voices now crawling through back channels, underground networks, and illegal comms hubs. The warships are moving. They're jumping across systems. They don't attack, they just appear and then disappear. In the Empire's core worlds, leaders debated. Should we declare war? Should we send ambassadors? Should we admit they were real all along? But there was no time, because the next sighting wasn't in the far reaches of space. It was in the heart of a secure star system, right above an orbital command station. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just hovered, watching. Then, all power failed across the station. Weapons locked. Communications died. When emergency lights returned, the warship was gone. In its place, on every monitor, appeared a single word: remember. Outposts across neutral space began shutting. Down cargo fleets vanished. Some said they were taken. Others claimed they were spared. But the truth was worse. The Terran ships were not looking for war. They were measuring, studying, judging. Each time they appeared, their technology did things the galaxy didn't understand. They disabled engines without a sound. They cracked encryption, just by being nearby. They passed through shields like mist. They weren't trying to destroy. They were reminding the galaxy of what was buried. One Empire admiral tried to spin it. This is nothing. Ancient junk. Scare tactics. The next day, his flagship vanished mid-broadcast. Gone, no explosion, no debris, just gone. All that was left was a ripple in space and a brief, flickering pulse of red light. The same red glow seen on the Terran warships. The whispers turned to fear. Was it just one fleet? Were there more? Why now? Why return? What did remember mean? The galaxy no longer laughed, and soon no one would sleep. Because for the first time in centuries, every living being felt the same chill. The humans were back, and they were not here to ask questions. The Empire had been mocked long enough. Their pride was wounded, their fleets humiliated, their systems scanned and shut down like toys. They had shown restraint. Now they would show force. A council of admirals gathered in orbit above the capital. The decision was unanimous. Deploy the Judicator Armada, the largest fleet ever assembled in the Empire's history, over 900 ships, each armed with the newest weapons, each programmed with fail-safes in case of Terran interference. They would find the human warships and erase them from space. The fleet moved fast, silent, deadly. Their destination, the outer line, where the Terran warships had last appeared. Civilians were evacuated, communications blocked, no media coverage allowed. This wasn't diplomacy. This was war. At first, the fleet found nothing. Empty stars, silent systems. Then, one ship appeared. The same one from before. The one that had looked at the Empire's ships and shut them down with a whisper. Now, it faced the Armada alone. The admirals laughed. 1 against 900, a command was given: fire. Torpedoes launched. Lasers screamed. Gravity bombs tore holes in the void. A storm of destruction fell on the Terran warship. For 30 full seconds, space burned. The admirals smiled. Then, the smoke cleared, and the Terran ship was still there, unharmed, untouched, but no longer alone. More shapes appeared, 10, 20, 50. A phalanx of Terran warships emerged like shadows rising from the dark, each one different, each one ancient, and yet perfect. The Empire's targeting systems went blind. Their weapons wouldn't lock. AI systems failed. Pilots screamed as controls stopped responding. One admiral pounded his console. Launch backup codes, but it was too late. The Terran ships didn't fire missiles. They didn't speak. They moved. Like blades through fog. Their hulls shimmered with red and blue light, bending space around them. Empire ships began to vanish, one by one. Without sound. Without fire. Just erased. As if space itself obeyed the Terrans now. In 5 minutes, 40 ships were gone. In 10 minutes, 300 more. The remaining captains begged for retreat. The admirals tried to command. No one listened. It was no longer a battle. It was a message. At the center of it all, the first Terran ship lit up. For the first time, a voice echoed across all frequencies. Old, calm, final. This is not war. This is balance. You woke what you buried. Then all Terran ships disappeared. In their place, a pulse of energy spread across the system. Empire vessels shut down. No damage, no death, just silence and fear. Back in the capital, the council fell into chaos. How do you fight an enemy who doesn't fight? How do you destroy ships that don't exist until they choose to? What does it mean to face a war you already lost? The Empire's might had failed. Their greatest fleet, gone. Not destroyed, not defeated, just erased. Like the Terrans wanted the galaxy to know, we allow you to exist. Fear echoed across every star system. Civilizations that once mocked the idea of Terran survival now held emergency meetings behind closed doors. Military leaders whispered to each other like scared children in the dark. And then, the message came not through radio, not through digital code. It came through thought. Across every species, every station, every ship. A low vibration, then words. Deep, cold, human. You built empires on broken graves. You silenced what you could not control. Now we speak again. Across dozens of planets, screens glitched. Terran symbols flashed. Ancient Earth script, lost to history, now burned across every interface. On research stations, scientists collapsed from the mental weight of the broadcast. On prison moons, inmates screamed, some crying, some kneeling. The message ended with one chilling statement: "We are not here to conquer. We are here to remind." Aboard a hidden Empire science vessel, deep inside a forbidden zone, a crew member broke protocol and connected a long-range scanner to a forgotten frequency. What they saw made the captain's heart stop. A map. It wasn't just one fleet. It wasn't 10. It was hundreds. Thousands. Terran ships waking up, all moving. Not toward Empire space, but toward their old colonies. Dead worlds, buried vaults, forgotten stations drifting in blackness, and from each of these places, a new signal was rising. The message was clear. The Terrans were not just back, they were everywhere. And they were remembering. The Galactic Council held its emergency summit. They spoke in hushed voices. Should we prepare for war? No, someone whispered. This isn't war. Then what is it? No one answered, because deep down, they knew the humans had returned, not for revenge, not for peace, but for truth. And truth was more terrifying than any weapon, because now the galaxy had to ask, what did we do to make them vanish? What did we bury so deep that it came back as this? On the dark side of a dead planet, forgotten by time, the ground cracked open. Dust poured into the air. Metal groaned. And a hatch, untouched for 10,000 years, rose from beneath black stone. It wasn't built by the Empire, it wasn't even listed on any star maps, it was Terran. Deep beneath the surface, machines stirred. Lights flickered on inside ancient halls carved in perfect symmetry. Walls made of a dark alloy unknown to the galaxy began to glow with red veins, pulsing like blood. A signal shot into space. The same signal that the first warship had broadcast. Only, this one was louder, clearer, and filled with coordinates. Every race in the galaxy heard it. Even those who didn't believe in Terran myths. Even those who had once allied with the Empire to wipe humans from the stars. Across the sectors, vaults opened. Massive underground facilities lit up. Ships long buried rose into the air without fuel, without engines. They lifted as if space itself welcomed them back. One by one, these sleeping titans turned toward the stars. They weren't fast, but they were certain. Their paths formed a pattern, like nodes in a network. The Terran fleet wasn't just returning, it was reconnecting. In the Empire's data core, hidden records suddenly unlocked on their own. Encrypted Terran logs decrypted without permission, images of Earth's final stand, of betrayal, of empires forming from the ashes of human sacrifice, of secrets buried beneath peace treaties, and one phrase burned into the screen in old Terran code: "We didn't die. You covered the sky in lies." The Council panicked. The Empire deployed defense platforms around key worlds, but it was too late. On the edge of the core worlds, a new type of ship appeared. Not like the others. This one was alive. It moved like a living thing. Its armor shifted, like muscle. Its lights blinked like eyes. The Empire fired instantly and watched in horror as their weapons passed through it. No damage, no impact. The ship didn't retaliate. Instead, it projected a sphere around itself, blocking all sensors, all communication, all logic. Inside the sphere, time bent. Ships floated frozen mid-fire. Pilots blinked and suddenly aged. Then, it spoke. You left us to rot beneath your peace, now your peace belongs to us. More vaults opened, more ships awakened, and the galaxy learned the final truth. Humanity didn't lose. It didn't run. It didn't die. It prepared for the day when memory would be their weapon, when forgotten machines would rise not as soldiers but as judgment. They thought Earth was lost, a myth, a burned-out rock from a forgotten war. But now, in the deepest sector of space, where no ship dared travel, a light was seen. Not a star, not a flare, but a beacon. It pulsed once every 6 seconds, then faster, then brighter, and then Earth answered, not with words, not with fleets, but with presence. The stars around the planet dimmed. Gravitational waves rippled across light years. A planetary shield, ancient and shimmering like a living sky, peeled away. Revealing the truth, Earth was not dead. It had never been dead. It had watched, and now, it had awakened. Orbiting the old blue world were dozens of ships, each one the size of moons, silent and still, positioned in perfect formation. The last guardians, the final line. The Empire sent probes. The probes vanished. They sent elite stealth, vessels gone, without a trace. And then, Earth spoke. Every screen, every mind, every satellite across the galaxy received the same message. You erased our history. You took our stars. Now you face the truth you buried. Across the council chambers, leaders screamed, "Stop the signal, block Earth." But it was inside everything now, in code, in airwaves, in thought. The Terran ships began to move. Slowly, purposefully, not toward the Empire, not toward battle, toward every world that had risen by pretending humanity never existed. Systems where humans were once slaves. Stations built from Terran ruins, all now glowed with red markers. One by one, these worlds shut down. No violence, just silence and fear, because the humans weren't attacking. They were reclaiming. A final war council was called. The Empire offered peace, a treaty, forgiveness. Earth didn't answer. Instead, the skies above every major capital shimmered and one Terran warship appeared in orbit. Just one. No weapons drawn, no voice, just its presence. People fell to their knees. Pilots refused orders. Generals deactivated weapons. And then, the ships turned, not to flee, but to return home, to Earth. Their message was clear. We are not your enemies. We are your correction. In the days that followed, the Empire collapsed, not through war, but through truth. Their lies shattered, their history rewritten, and the galaxy finally remembered. Humanity had once ruled, not with fear, but with fire, knowledge, and sacrifice. And now the stars belong to Earth again, not because they were taken, but because they were earned.